listening to the Offsiders Podcast with Massimo DeFranco, Brendan Lang, Luca Mocan, and Joshua Lippa.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on the Offsiders Podcast. We're back again with all four of us here, Lippa, Luca, and Brendan. Brendan, where you been? How you been?
Just been busy. I was broadcasting in the Intercounty Baseball League, calling some baseball games, so I've been pretty busy over the summer, but now the season's over, back in school, so ready to go.
And we are roughly 7 days away from the first preseason game for the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Montreal Canadiens because, of course. So what we're going to do is before, the season starts, we're going to do a tier list on how we think each team will do. And instead of just, saying how we think we're going to finish in the standings, we're going to do it a bit differently. So the first tier we got here is Cup Contenders. This would be a team you think is going to go on a deep playoff run and potentially, win the Cup. The second tier is playoff teams. If they don't make the playoffs, it's a surprise. That's basically how that one will work. The third one is bubble team, which would be a 50-50. Wouldn't be shocked if they make it. Wouldn't be shocked if they don't. And then you've got the fourth tier, rebuilding, just, self-explanatory, getting better, not quite ready though. And tanking, teams getting worse, no chance of making the playoffs. So
Buffalo.
Yeah. So how we're going to do this is, we've got four of us and we got 32 teams. So we're going to, form an order. Let's just go alphabetical for names. So Brendan will be up first, followed by, let's go with Lippa, and then Luca, and then I'll be last. So that would mean Brendan has the first team with Anaheim, and, he gets to decide where he wants to put them. But say all three of us disagree with him, then we get the say. So it's majority rules. But if it's a 2v2, then Brendan would get the say because it was his team in the first place. So Brendan, take it off. Where would you like to put the Anaheim Ducks? If you want, you can look up Daily Faceoff, check out their line combinations, see what their team's looking like. Yeah. What do you think for the Anaheim Ducks?
That's what I'm doing here right now. Let me just pull it up. Wi-Fi's being slow.
Get a grip there, bud.
Anaheim Ducks.
I like Anaheim. They've always had a soft spot for me.
I wish they rebranded. That'd be great.
Because of those Mighty Ducks movies.
Okay, let's see. I like that they have. I think Trevor Zegras is going to be a stud.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Guy's a beauty. They have so many young buttes. They got Zegras. They got Drysdale, Maxime Comtois, who's starting to get really good too.
Yeah. I think, and then the young buck Ryan Getzlaf.
Oh yeah, young at heart. Oh yeah, and they've even got like guys like Isaac Lundstrom, Jacob Perreault.
Their defense has always been pretty.
They're going to
be.
Their team is going to be. Their team's going to be really good. If not now, in the next few years.
So, Massimo, can you run me down on these columns again?
Yes, of course. So we have Cup contending team, playoff team, bubble team, rebuilding team, tanking.
I'm going to go with rebuilding for the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay. Does anyone want to contest that? I'm pretty fine with rebuilding.
I'm kind of torn.
I wouldn't say tanking.
I'm kind of torn just because.
No,
I wouldn't say tanking either. I'm just kind of torn just because if you like, I feel like they could have like a fourth place, third place spot. Maybe not. Like it's a kind of a bold take, but if you look at the division the
division is wide open.
Vegas for sure is gonna like at least be second. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Seattle sucks,
but
they're not gonna do anything.
Man,
they're gonna be
Seattle sucks.
We'll save it.
Flames,
we'll save it.
They'll be better than
questionable.
Anaheim.
Sharks are questionable. Canucks are questionable.
But
Oilers and Kings, I like.
Their first line is not a first line. If you're telling me Comtois, Zegras, and Terry is good enough to be a first line, you're just wrong. They don't have a first line.
You're right. But I feel like they have like a decently, like they're nothing to write home about, but I feel like they're a decently well-rounded team. They still have Gibson, who's a really good goalie. The defense is pretty decent. And like their top six isn't awful. Like I feel like they could make at least fourth place.
I agree with you in that sense, but the players that they do have that are skilled are still really young and they don't have a ton of experience in the league.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd say rebuilding, because in 3, 4, 5 years, are they going to be a playoff contender? Yeah, I'd think so.
Yeah.
But I'd say just right now, because they're young, they're just trying to get a little more experience.
So
cool
all 4 of us
rebuilding.
agree on rebuilding.
I'm good with that.
All right. Lipa, you're up here with the Arizona Coyotes.
Okay, so this one's tough for me because I really like what Arizona's got. Like their defense is pretty good. Like they got Chikrin, they got Connor Timmins, who they recently just got. They got Ghost, who could potentially have bounce back year. Victor Soderstrom, who's a good young guy who could develop into something good. And their offense is okay, so I might just put them in rebuilding as well, honestly. Because I think in the next few years, I think their prospect pool is good. Like I think in the next few years, they're going to be a really good team. They got guys, like I mentioned, Soderstrom. They got a steal, I think, in this past draft, picking up Dylan Guenther at 9, which was pretty
definitely
sick. And then they have a ton of picks in this next draft. I think they have 5 or 6 second rounders, and then I think it's 3 first rounders, something like that, something crazy like that.
They have a ton of the draft picks.
They have a ton of picks. I'm gonna keep them in rebuilding though, just because I think in this division that they're in, I don't think they make the playoffs.
I'm gonna contest that and say tanking because I think they're going for Shane Wright, and why would you not?
I would, but they made some moves in the offseason. Like I think getting rid of Ekman Larson was kind of an interesting move in my eyes because they didn't really get a lot for him. But I wouldn't say tanking because they're honestly a team where they have enough talent where they could steal games.
Their goaltending is Carter Hutton and Josef Koronar.
Yeah, but Hutton was also playing on Buffalo.
Carter Hutton's never been good. Yeah. Well, he has, but for one season.
Buffalo's never been good.
That's very true.
The fair point.
Okay, Brandon.
I don't know. I just feel like
I
don't know. I don't know about tanking. I feel like that's a little harsh.
I'd stick with rebuilding as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like you said, I think their defense is pretty solid. I think Gostisbehere could have a bounce back year because you got to remember he was really good at one time. Didn't he win Rookie of the Year in Philadelphia?
I don't think he won Rookie of the Year, but he was definitely really good.
He was a really good offensive guy.
He was one or two in that voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he could have
like I said, they have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, like Lupa said, I think Connor Timmins is a huge addition. He's going to be a great player defensively. You have guys like Keller. I mean, Kessel, as much as we like to rag on him here in Toronto, he can score. He is a good offensive player. So yeah, I wouldn't put them as far as tanking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 3-1, so they stay in rebuilding. That would mean, Luca, you're up here with the Boston Bruins.
Okay. So I think, even after losing some players like Chara and their defense obviously got a lot weaker.
Mm-hmm.
When you lose a lot of guys like Torrey Krug and things like that, but they still have their core group of guys. The perfection line, whether Massimo wants to admit it or not, that is a top 5, if not top 3 line.
What do you mean?
I think top 3. I think
top 3 line in hockey.
Of course.
Yeah. And I think as long as those guys stay together, they will be a playoff team. I don't know about a contender because they're not as high powered as they were, but playoff team, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with playoff team.
I would even go as far as saying as their cup contenders.
The reason I don't have them as a cup contending team is because their second line center is Charlie Coyle, and you need a second line center.
Sure, but then look at the wingers that are with him. He has Taylor Hall and Craig Smith, who I would say is pretty underrated. Their bottom 6 is pretty decent. Yeah. Pretty decent considering they have Foligno, who they just picked up. They have DeBrusk still. Their defense is pretty decent considering they lost Krug. They have McAvoy, Grzelcyk, and Carlo there. And then Mike Riley's not even too bad. And they got Linus Ullmark, who he put up, I mean, considering he was on Buffalo, put on some pretty good numbers.
Put up decent numbers.
Yeah. So I would say that they're a cup contender, in my opinion.
Brendan?
I don't know what you guys think.
That's a tough one, honestly.
It is tough.
They're really to me, they're really in kind of the fringe area between being a cup contender and just a playoff team. But
the thing is with Boston, they always seem to go so far in the playoffs.
But they did that with Krejci,
they always do well. Yeah, you're right. But like I said, they have Hall and Smith on that line as well.
I think I'm going to go with Cup contender. I think.
Wow.
Like Taylor Hall is. I know he had a terrible time in Buffalo, but since he went to Boston, he was pretty good. And I mean, I would think he's going to be really good again.
100%.
And like Lipa said, with the goaltending, honestly, Allmark is pretty good.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with Cup contender.
Okay, so Luca, do you want to change? Or you want to keep with playoff team? It's all about you right now.
I'm keeping them in playoff.
I'm keeping them in playoff team as well. All right, so they stay in playoff team. I am up with the Buffalo Sabres straight to tanking. Next,
I have a problem.
Playoff contenders.
I don't even really think there's any explanation warranted there.
Who's their goalie in Buffalo?
Craig Anderson. Actually,
is it Craig Anderson?
Craig Anderson.
No.
Yep.
Is it really?
Anderson.
Oh my!
Oh, and they have Aaron Dell as well. They have Aaron Dell as well.
Dell, what a legend! Leafs legend.
It's 2015 again. Buffalo and Arizona are contending for the first round pick again, but this time it's not.
What's your opinion, Massimo? Right. Arizona's in a rebuild.
Casey Middlestat's a stud.
Yeah, it's Anderson and Dell.
Yo, honestly though, like I said it last episode, I think he's gonna have a breakout year. Middlestat.
Good.
Yeah.
I think Dylan Cousins is a really good player, and I'm glad because I really like Dylan Cousins. I'm glad he's playing on a team like Buffalo. I know that sounds kind of bad, but I mean, like he's going to get a chance to play all the time, and he's going to get a chance to play on a top line. So I think that's awesome for a lot of these guys. But yes, they are definitely tanking.
Since we're on the topic of Buffalo, because the only time we talk about them is to talk about how shitty they are. Where do you guys have Jack Eichel going, or what are they going to do with him? What do you guys think?
I'm going to save that for my hot takes that I'm going to do next episode, but I'll let you guys talk about it.
I mean, if you want to save it for next episode, we can.
Yeah, let's just save it.
Okay.
It's interesting, though.
So,
it's an interesting discussion.
Brendan, you're up with Calgary Flames here, buddy.
Ooh, Calgary Flames. So let's pull them up here.
Yeah, Calgary.
Wait. This isn't your turn, Lipa.
Brendan always gets the first save.
I'm just trying to fill the silence.
Well, not Brendan.
I'm just trying to fill the silence here.
Calgary Flames. Yeah, thank you, Lipa.
No problem, man.
Their new addition being Blake Coleman, by the way.
To say, yeah.
Yes, yeah. That was a pretty solid signing for them.
Let's see. I'm gonna say playoff contender. I don't think they make the playoffs, but
so
I think
do you want to do playoff team or bubble team? Bubble team, probably, right?
Oh, there's a bubble. Then a bubble team. Yes.
I was about to say, you think they're a fucking playoff contender?
Yeah. See, it's tough with them.
Bubble team. I think they finished probably 4th or 5th in their division, and I think they play pretty close to the playoffs all year long, but I don't think they'd make it.
See, I can't get a read on Calgary because it all comes down to Johnny Gaudreau in the core. And I really haven't liked...
and Monahan
I haven't liked their offseason. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that, in the summer we made a lot of episodes. Well, not a lot, but we made some episodes, and we talked about there's going to be 3 teams. There's going to be 3 teams who, should be most active. It's going to be... And one of them was Calgary, and they didn't really do much, and it's because they didn't want to trade anyone of Gaudreau, Tkachuk, or Monahan, which Monahan should definitely be
gone. Or Lindholm, even. Yeah, dude, that guy...
But, they do have decent goaltending with Markstrom. They did lose Giordano. I think bubble team is appropriate for them because they are 50-50.
Who do you guys think steps into that captain role now that Mark Giordano's gone?
I think it's going to be Matthew Tkachuk's team.
I think so too. Yeah,
I think both of the Tkachuks will be future captains very soon.
Yeah, he's got a leadership. He's got a leadership presence to him. Yeah. I think he would. I don't know. Do you think they named the captain this year though?
No, definitely not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we agree on that.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with bubble team for sure.
All right, that would mean Lipa, you're up with the Carolina Hurricanes.
So I've always loved Carolina. A bunch of jerks. The shenanigans that went on this offseason with them and Kotkaniemi was hilarious. And honestly, I really like Carolina's team. They kind of underperformed in the playoffs this past season.
Well, they ran into Tampa again.
You're right, and which is just kind of unfortunate. I mean, going up against the Stanley Cup winners in the second round, that's just brutal. But you know what? Like, I have them as playoff. It's tough. I want to say cup contenders, but because they have such a good team, their top 6 is pretty nuts.
We can't rebuttal you yet. You got to make the say.
Yeah,
I know. They have a insane top 6. Their defense is good. I kind of want to see what D'Angelo does, honestly. And just the only thing that has me questioning them is their goaltending with Anderson and Raanta. I'm going to say playoff.
I agree with playoff.
I'm not going to say cup.
I don't think they're a contender yet.
Yeah, it's just they have all the pieces. We just have to see what happens with their goaltending, because Raanta, I think, is a good goalie. Anderson can be a good goalie. It's just with the whole injuries thing. I mean, we saw him on the Leafs.
Injuries thing for both of them, honestly. Raanta's got some injuries history as well.
Yeah.
The only thing for me that I'd consider even moving them down into bubble is losing Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah,
but even without Hamilton, dude, their defense, Slavin, Pesci, D'Angelo, and
the guy
Bear.
there to take over Hamilton's offensive production is D'Angelo, and we don't know if he can do that again.
You're right. But I mean, with acquiring Ethan Bear as well, they still have Slavin, who's a good two-way guy. You know, their top 6 has to be one of the better in the league now with Kotkaniemi. I mean,
does Kotkaniemi crack that top 6
as of right now? No, he's
not top 6. He's going to be third line. He's
just
their
forward core in general, man.
Yeah, no, their forward core is insane.
At the same time, I feel like their top 6. I mean, their couple star players, they underperformed last year.
They did.
Even in the regular season,
you expect more out of them. I mean, I think it's because Teravainen got injured again. Man, if that kid can stay healthy for once, but I think you do expect more of them. I don't see Carolina as that much of an offensive team. I think they're just more of a two-way team.
I'm kind of the same way. So
I like Martin Nikish. That guy, he had such a big year this past year. Vinny Trocheck is a solid second line center. Nino Niederreiter, he's great. And I'm so curious to see what Kotkaniemi can do on this team. I think he has so much to offer. And I think he's going to blend right in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I have them as a playoff contender. I don't know if
so we're keeping them there, yeah? Playoff team?
Yeah, I'd agree with playoff team, yeah.
All right, that would mean, Luca, you're up with the Chicago Blackhawks.
It's a tough one.
I don't...
That is tough.
Okay, because they made some very interesting moves. I think them getting Fleury and Fleury saying he's going to play is really interesting for that team.
You're getting Taves back?
Taves coming
Taves
back
and Doc, by the way.
It's just you have Taves coming off an injury where he's been sidelined for over a year. And even when he was healthy, he wasn't really that good. Patrick Kane is going to continue to be Patrick Kane. Last year I would have said rebuild. This year I'm confident saying bubble. Because they could make the playoffs if all of their guys perform. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't and they just came close. I think in a couple of years, I think they're going to come back and be a playoff team or a higher tier bubble team. But for now, I think I just have them in bubble.
I think bubble's the right choice here.
I'd agree with that as well, yeah.
I agree too, because you know what? Their top 6, if Taves can come back and produce again and Doc can come back and produce again, I feel like their top 6 is pretty good as well.
Taves is the second line center defense, right now.
I know. It's just their defense is kind of lacking. They did get Seth Jones, but then that's really about it. Connor Murphy, he's okay. Calvin DeHaan, he's all right. You know, he's got his brother with Caleb now, Seth.
Yeah.
Seth
it also
Jones,
goaltending is, how's Fleury going to perform, right? Because the age does affect him. Does he still play that well, or does he play that well because of the defense in front of him in Vegas? That's what we're going to find out.
They do have Lankinen, which honestly, that's a solid tandem if Fleury can do as well as he did last year with Lankinen and Fleury, because Lankinen had a fantastic year.
He's going to regress. He's going to regress. He'll be league average.
He will. You have to.
Yeah.
I think so as well. But you know what? I think bubble team is appropriate for the Blackhawks just because their defense kind of lacks. There's question marks on the goaltending, and then their forwards also. It's just a whether or not Doc and Taves can come back out and perform again.
All right.
I think that's the thing, like Luca was saying, is there's a lot of ifs.
Yeah,
and I think
there is. And that's the bubble.
If all these things come together, then they can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm up again. I got the two easiest ones so far. Colorado Avalanche, they're a cup contending team in my opinion.
Obviously.
And they have been for the past few years.
Sure.
100%.
Colorado is the new Tampa. All of the talent in the world and just can't get
out of the
done.
second round. Nathan McKinnon is very mad. Just don't let him catch you eating pasta.
Tough. Shut up.
Brendan, you're up with the Columbus Blue Jackets, buddy.
Great.
Interesting.
Columbus Blue Jackets, man. I feel like this is another. It can be kind of tough just because they did make some moves in the offseason and with the whole Voracek thing and Laine and everything.
They got Jake Bean from Columbus. They got a really good package from Chicago.
Oh yeah, for sure. And their goaltending is good. I like.
They got Bean they signed Bean from Carolina and they got Bogfist in the package. Sorry, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say rebuilding.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had a couple years there where they really outperformed what they were expected to do. I think a lot of these guys are really young, not extremely proven guys on their team. And their goaltending's good, though, so maybe with their goaltending I'd move them up to bubble. But as of right now, I'd have them in.
Yeah, I wouldn't put them bubble,
rebuild.
and I wouldn't put them lower because they do have a pretty decent top six, and I can't see that being one of a tanking team unless they trade Domi or one of them gets injured. But for as of right now, Laine, Roslovic, Bjorkstrand, Nyquist, Domi, Voracek is pretty decent.
Yeah.
So
I agree. You know what? I have them in. I would say rebuilding as well, just because their top six is looking decent and their defense is good, but they're not quite there yet. I'd say, especially because Laine with only signing for 1 year. We're not even sure if he's going to stay on the
contract.
team.
It's what it is.
Pretty much, and then we have to see how Voracek works out in Columbus. It's hard. It's hard to say with them, but yeah, I'm okay with them being rebuilding.
All right,
and there's no torts anymore.
First year, Let's see how that goes.
True.
And honestly, I know Massimo doesn't like torts, but I think he was a lot of the reason why they did overperform. So
I think that and goaltending because Bobrovsky.
Yeah,
sure, yeah,
you are
for
right.
Sure.
Their goaltending was good.
Yeah. Lipa, I think. Yeah, Lipa, you're up with the Dallas Stars.
Dallas Stars. Okay, I have a bold take here, but I will explain. I'm gonna have them as a playoff team. I feel like last season they really struggled without Seguin, but now that he's back, I really think because if you look at they had Roop Hintz, Jason Robertson, Denis Gurianov, who all three of them I feel like took huge leaps in their game with not having Seguin in the lineup because they all had that chance to be in the top six, and I feel like they all did pretty well considering the circumstances. Plus, their defense is pretty decent. They have Heiskanen, they have Klingberg, they have Lindell, all pretty good offensive guys who can contribute defensively, and then they still have Jamie Benn. They still have Joe Pavelski, who's a good top six option as well. It's just having Khudobin and Ettinger in net. That's the only thing. Do you know if Ben Bishop's coming back?
No, probably
season,
not.
Or?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And I think Ottinger.
That's the only thing.
He's okay. He's not that bad. I think
he's decent. I liked Khudobin. Honestly, he did a pretty decent job last year filling that starter role.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't think that's bold at all.
I don't think that's bold either.
That's a pretty good playoff team. Yeah. If anything, I would say bubble because of their goaltending, but I can be okay with playoff team.
That was my thing. Is honestly, I think they could even be higher than a playoff team if their goaltending was not so up in the air.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm looking at their lines right now, man. Like having Gurianov on that third line, that's going to be huge if they keep that. And then he feels
like 100%, and he hasn't felt this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, the top pair of Suter and Heiskanen is a very strong defensive pairing. You still have Klingberg, who's going to be playing on the second pair. I think they definitely make.
Plus, you got that. Yeah. Plus, you got that old Russian Radulov on. Like I love that guy so much. That guy's such a beauty.
People were expecting him to absolutely explode when he came to Dallas. Dallas and just disappeared.
Yeah.
You know what? He was injured for a good portion of last year, but
injuries didn't when he was his playing, career.
He was a point a game. Like he only played 11 games, but he had 12 points, 4 goals. But for when he was in, he was a point a game. So you know what? I think these guys, if they make the playoffs, I think they. I think first of all, I think they do. Second of all, I think they'll have a big impact. Honestly.
All right, let's keep this rolling. Luca, Detroit Red Wings.
I wouldn't even say they're tanking to be like they are bad enough that I could say tanking, but they're in a rebuild. That's pretty much what I would say. Like I don't have any confidence in them whatsoever to succeed in this league,
especially in the Atlantic Division. Yeah,
but they're not tanking anymore.
They got a good goalie.
I don't think
they got a good goalie, and they have a really insane prospect.
So what did you say, Luca?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd say rebuild.
Okay.
But as a team, they're bad enough to be in tanking, but I think they're rebuilding.
Yeah, I'd say rebuilding.
So,
yeah,
I don't think there's not. I don't think there's much to talk more about. That's just
no. I don't think they're in a spot where they're going to be competing for the top draft pick.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm up with the Edmonton Oilers, and it's, again, pretty easy because when you have Connor McDavid on your team, you should be a playoff team regardless of how bad your defense is.
Yep.
Like, their defense is
no, you should, 100%.
comical, and their goaltending is still Smith and Koskinen, but with McDavid and Draisaitl, you should be a playoff team regardless, so I don't care.
But you also have to remember, near the end of the season, Smith was a stud.
Yeah, he has stints, but you need more
he's not going to keep that up.
He is 41.
Right.
Yeah.
Brendan, you're back. Florida Panthers.
Back. Ooh, Florida Panthers. Whoa. I really like.
Did you say? No, sorry. Did you say is that a group consensus that
playoff team? Yeah, I mean, I thought so.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Luca?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon, Florida Panthers.
Okay. All right, I'll go fuck myself. I guess.
I really, really like the Florida Panthers. I love that playoff series they played in last year's great back and forth series.
Who's your favorite player? Do you remember his name?
Yeah, Lomberg.
Yeah. He's not in the lineup. He's not in the lineup.
No, I know. The coach is going a little crazy, but I'm gonna say definite playoff contender.
Yeah, I don't think they're a bubble team. I don't think they're a cup contending team. I think they are a playoff team. Their hopes do ride a lot on their goaltending. They need Bobrovsky to find his form again because right now it's night.
They got Joey Teabags as well, boys. Heart and soul of the team.
Never mind. Tanking.
Yeah. Heart and soul of the team. They're gonna come out. On all cylinders now.
He's also not. He's not listed on daily faceoff.
He's not on the lineup.
I don't know how you can justify putting him in.
But also, he doesn't make that. Ryan Lomberg, though, he's just going to pop out in the playoffs.
Probably. Especially if there was Tampa.
Because he's a guy, he's a playoff guy, a guy that just grinds it out all the time.
He's a part of your playoff roster, yeah.
Yeah, he 100% is.
I do question, again, their second line center with Sam Bennett. I think, they were a bit overzealous. He had a really good stint with them in the playoffs, and then they gave him that contract. I don't know if he can continue to be that good, but if he can, I think they're going to be fine.
And I think also their third and fourth line centers with Lundell and Achari.
Lundell could be a Calgary finalist.
Yeah, like
Lundell,
that's pretty good depth.
For sure, 100%. Lundell's going to be a stud. Like he's a great two-way player. I feel like he's like a good comparison would be like a John Tavares kind of player, where he's like his skating, I don't think is the strongest, but he has a good shot, and he's like a really good playmaker. I think he's going to be really good.
Luca, do you agree with everything?
Yeah, like that's like everything to say has already been said. I'm kind of
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That would mean Lipa, you're up with the LA Kings.
Okay, so I don't know if this will be a hot take or not again as well, but I have them as a playoff contender. Just because, you know what, they acquired.
Do you have them as a playoff team or a bubble team?
Playoff team, sorry, okay. Playoff team. They got Athanasiou, they got Arvidsson they got Danault this offseason. They really strengthened their top six, and their defense, like they got Bjornfot as well, who's a rookie who I feel like could, we'll have to see what he can do. But they still have Doughty, who's kicking it. Edler fucking blows. Oh my god, I can't believe they have Edler.
Sean Walker is pretty good though. Sean Walker is pretty good.
Sean Walker's pretty decent, and then they got Pettersson and Quick in net. I have them as a playoff team, purely because of their not purely because of their division, but I feel like given their division, I feel like they can strive. Plus, they have some gross prospects. They have Byfield, they have Turcotte, they have Arthur Kaliev.
They have the best prospect pool in the league. It's not,
dude. Their prospects are absolutely disgusting, and their top six is decent enough where I think they can totally make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I originally had them at bubble team, but I do think they can be a playoff team for sure.
Yeah. It was between bubble and playoff, but their prospects are so good. I'll be surprised that if they don't make the playoffs. Like their top six is pretty decent, and they're gonna have these guys coming in and out of the lineup with Byfield and Kaliev and these guys. I think they make the playoffs. That's my take.
I am gonna say bubble.
Mm-hmm.
I just like you're right. They brought in a lot of new guys, but for me, like, you don't just automatically become a playoff team just because of that. Like,
you're right.
Like,
you're right.
Like, I think like obviously it helps, but you can bring in a bunch of guys onto a team, and if the coaching isn't good enough, or if like the system just doesn't work for everybody, it's just not going to work.
True.
So for me, like, I think they could be a playoff team, but I think right now they're still in the bubble.
Brendan, what do you think?
See, the Kings are a weird team for me because I think you could easily make the argument that they're still a rebuilding team, but you could also easily make the argument that they're a playoff team. They're so like, I think a lot of things could go either way with this team. I'd stick them around bubble, just like right in the middle. For the reason that Lipa was talking about, because their prospect pool is so vast and so great as of right now, I think you could make the argument to put them in rebuilding, but I don't think they're bad enough to go in that one, so I would put them in bubble.
Yeah, I'm going to abandon you, Lipa. I'm putting them in bubble. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. You know what? I'm 100% okay with that, just for the fact that in the next couple of years, I feel like this is definitely going to be a playoff team. Just given my arguments that they have one of the best.
They have the best. They have the best.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like they're going to have all these guys coming up and with like maybe these 10, 20 game trials, so we can see how good they are. And then with the addition of Danault and Arvidsson, I think these guys are going to be really good.
Luca, Minnesota Wild.
Shit. Okay.
Your favorite team.
Why do I keep getting like the hardest ones? Okay. Definitely not a contender. Definitely not.
Not a playoff team, you mean?
Probably not a playoff team either. But I wouldn't say they're rebuilding. Like I'd say once again they're right there on the bubble. I think Kaprizov or Kaprizov or however the fuck you say his name. I think he will be captain of that team probably next year.
Ooh,
whoa!
Because I mean, like he's just so because like I can't really think of anybody else that you'd want to keep as captain of that team. Like everybody else who's still there is blowing chunks or they're turning into dust. Like he really the only good thing about that team
Jared
right now.
Spurgeon, Eunice Brodin. Jared Spurgeon is the current captain.
Chunks.
Yeah, and he's going to Jurassic Park like next week. So
Jared Spurgeon's not even that old.
He's not.
He's a younger
I feel like
guy,
he's been in the league
actually.
forever. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I have them in bubble just because I don't think they have enough pieces there right now
He's
to say they can be.
31.
No, yeah, I'd probably say bubble.
I'm going to agree with him. I do think bubble. I think high bubble because Kaprizov will be scoring a ton of goals no matter who his line mate is because he did it last season with Victor Rask and Matt Zuccarello. I think their defense is their defense is pretty underrated. I think it's definitely up there for like one of the best D-cores in the league. It's not that good, but it is up there. Matthew Boldy, if he makes the roster, will definitely have an impact. And I do like their goaltending tandem. I think it was great last year, and I think it will be good again. But yeah, bubble for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go bubble as well. Their goaltending not great. Kokkonen was good last year at times. But yeah, I think I'd stick with bubble as well. And why is Marco Rossi hurt? What happened?
He was suffering from COVID all year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the athletes who got it hit the worst.
Okay, he's gonna be good. I like Marco Rossi.
I like Marco Rossi too.
I agree though. I think bubble is perfect fit for them because they're definitely not rebuilding, but I think in the next couple of years again they can definitely make the playoffs.
Okay, no, it's me. I have the Habs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna put them in bubble team, and I don't think they're rebuilding, and I don't think they're a playoff team necessarily because one, they lost Deneau, they lost Weber, Carey Price's health is a big concern, and they finished 18th last season with those guys. So I don't know how they're going to do this season, and I would put them in bubble team.
I would be inclined to agree with you. Bubble team for me as well.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that as well.
I'll say bubble team as well. I mean, it's tough to put the Stanley Cup finalists in bubble team, but I mean, let's be honest here. Do we really think they deserved to get that far?
Lost Deneau, lost Kotkaniemi. Weber's probably done for the year. Carey Price probably doesn't want to be there.
I mean, I don't know about that, but yeah, there's a lot.
I'm still salty. I'm still salty that the Habs made it that far, as you can tell.
I know you are.
But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to say bubble team.
And this isn't our salt, Habs fans, by the way. This is just we're looking at it objectively. Like
it's a pure unbiased opinion.
You lost
if you look at the division, there's Tampa there, there's Florida there, the Leafs, the Bruins. Like I don't see them finishing higher above any of those teams. So,
like Carey Price would have to have playoff price regular season for you guys to make the playoffs, and he hasn't done that in a very long time.
Habs fans, you don't know this, of course, but I liked your team last year. I thought they were pretty awesome.
The Habs embody what Brendan likes in a team.
I'm not going to be biased. I actually really like how the Montreal Canadiens play hockey.
Brendan,
but yeah, I'd say bubble.
You're up with the Nashville Predators here, buddy.
Ooh, Smashville. The Smashville Predators. That team, they took a nosedive.
Yeah, no, they definitely did.
Nashville was another team that I really liked. Like when PK Subban was out there and a lot of these guys.
Yossi was flying.
Yossi, true. Yossi's still really good though.
Forsberg.
Just looking here. I like Cody Glass. I think he's going to be good.
Tomasino is going to be nuts, I think, too.
Tomasino. I've played against Tomasino.
Huh?
Yeah. Phil Tomasino. Mississauga boy.
Yeah, I played against him. We played against him in elementary school hockey.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
I am going to say That's tough, but I'm gonna say rebuild.
I'm going to agree with you. I don't see how they can make the playoffs, and I would be shocked if they do make the playoffs, because if they do make the playoffs, it would be because UC Saros won the Vezina.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like they are just not the team, like the consistent playoff contender.
They are going to regret not selling at the deadline last year.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so too. Like they definitely should have sold. It's tough though, just because like their defense I feel like is pretty strong. They have guys like Eli Tolvanen, who I think is going to have a big year this year. Duchesne, like he's still pretty decent. Like you said, Cody Glass and Tomasino, they're great prospects. It's tough between rebuilding and what's it called? Bubble for me, because they also have Nick Cousins.
No, it's rebuilding for me.
Yeah, I don't think they can make the playoffs unless, again, like you said,
I don't think they make the playoffs either. But yeah, you know what? I'm cool with rebuilding,
Luca,
because they have some pretty decent prospects as well.
Yeah, like that's completely fine with me.
All right.
I don't even think they're good enough to be close to the bubble.
And Luca really likes Nashville.
I
like
used
Nashville
to.
too.
They were a great team.
I can't believe they named a team Predators. Anyway, Lipa, you're up with the New Jersey Devils.
So I'm actually so glad I got to talk about the Devils here.
I know you're like their biggest fans.
I love this team. I think they're going to be so sick. I think they're going to be so sick in the next few years. They have, like LA, probably one of the better prospect pools in the league as well. They have Holtz. They just drafted Luke Hughes, which is sick. He gets to be with his brother, Dawson Mercer, Nolan Foote. What the fuck? Who's laughing? Someone laughing?
No one's laughing.
Oh, I thought somebody was laughing. I was like, what the fuck? Who's laughing at me? But yeah, no. I love this team. With Hamilton, they got Graves as well. And sue me here. I think they make the playoffs.
You're putting them in playoff
they
team?
will make the playoffs. I think so. I think
you know
so.
what?
I think if they make the playoffs, I think it'll be third or maybe like wild card. But like,
so let me just remind you. So playoff team is if they don't make the playoffs, it's a surprise. Bubble team is 50-50.
See, that's the thing, because the Metropolitan Division is so close. Aside from the fucking Blue Jackets we talked about,
are you going to be surprised if the Devils don't make the playoffs? Because I won't.
Because it's so tough because of this fucking division. Throw them in another division, and I feel like playoff team. Oh my god!
I don't think they're there yet. I don't think that. But right now they are in playoff team. Luca, what do you think?
I retract it. I retract it. No, put it back in bubble. Put it back in bubble. Put it in bubble.
Yeah, like I pretty much think bubble is fine. Like we talked about them last episode too. Like a lot of people don't realize they made a lot of good moves, and their team was already like decently put together. But they like when you add in a guy like Ryan Graves and Dougie Hamilton, like, all of a sudden that team becomes pretty threatening, to be honest.
And like I said, their prospect pool is pretty unreal as well. Alexander Holtz, he's gonna be pretty nutty, I think. Luke Hughes, we'll have to see what happens with him, but like I think he's gonna be a great defenseman. Dawson Mercer is a really strong winger. In the next couple of years, this team's gonna be fucking nasty.
Luca, New York Islanders.
Okay, I think they're in the same place they have been for the last couple of years. I think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they're a contender just because I don't think they have the offense. Like, I'm not saying they can't go out and score goals, but they are much more of a defensive team than they are offensive. I don't think that's a secret to anybody. But I don't think they have that one, I don't think they have that offensive presence yet. Like, obviously you have guys like Matt Barzal, and then you have like Anders Lee coming back off of his injury, and like you'll have guys like that. But I don't think
Palmieri as well. You got to remember.
Yeah, but like I just don't think that's enough firepower to be considered a cup contender.
Okay, so for me, I think we saw last year in the playoffs, Barzal is starting to emerge as that offensive guy, that number 1C. And I think if he continues that development, I think there definitely will be a cup contending team. And I think I'm comfortable putting them in cup contending, but I want to hear what you guys have to say as well.
I'm going to say cup contender as well. With, like you said, they are a more defensive team, 100% they are, and their coach is 100% defensive minded as well. And I think in the playoffs, defense goes a lot farther than offense does. But saying that, they still do have guys who can score, like Lee coming back. Palmieri's been able to score. Barzal can score. Bailey had an unbelievable playoffs when they were.
Beauvillier is underrated, I feel.
Beauvillier,
well.
Brock Nelson. And then my favorite line in the NHL, Matt Martin, Casey Cizikas, and Cal Clutterbuck.
Literally just embodies what Brendan likes about hockey.
3 absolute beauticians on that line.
My favorite, Cal Clutterbuck, Welland boy. Great guy. Anyways.
What a legend.
Yeah.
Casey Cizikas, Mississauga boy.
That's right, he is.
Yeah.
Mississauga Majors legend.
And then Matt Martin, Leafs legend.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Matt Martin should be still in the Leafs. Don't get me started. And Barry Trotz is the best coach in the NHL. And Lou Lamoriello, I mean, kind of a drill sergeant, makes guys shave. I know he thinks we're in the Army, but I have faith in him to be able to make moves when the time comes if they need to make trades at the deadline. So I'm going to say cup contender.
All right, Lipa, it's up to you.
Honestly,
where do you have them?
I have cup contender as well. I mean, these guys,
Luka.
they have a solid tandem with Sorokin and Varlamov. You got to remember that. Their defense is pretty decent. Noah Dobson, young guy, he could develop into something pretty big as well. Pelech and Polak on that first pair.
I think it really is. This is a good team. It's just a matter of time. It really is.
Yeah, I think so too. They're you're right. I don't know if they have like a star player who can go out and get like a 90, 100-point season. But I just think they're a really nice, well-rounded team that, like you said, with Trotz behind them, I feel like this is a team that can totally take the cup.
All right, so Luka
I think the Islanders are going to make the Stanley Cup final.
I have the exact same prediction, but we'll save that for the future episode. Luka did the Islanders, so I'm up next with the New York Rangers. I finally get a tough one, eh?
I love the Rangers, man. I love that team so much.
Man, it's really tough.
It is. Because like I said, that's a hard division, man.
I don't know
it's a really hard division.
It's really tough between playoff team and bubble team. Like, I don't know if I'd be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. So for that, I'm going to put them in bubble.
Man.
Yeah, I'd stick with bubble as well, even though I do like them. I think
they're at the top of bubble, if anything.
Lafreniere got off to a slow start, but he kind of turned it on a little bit. I think he's going to have an absolute star of a season.
Yeah.
I want to put them in playoffs, man.
I don't think I can. I can't put them that far just because of how bad they were last year.
They have all the pieces on offense, I'd say, to make a big run, but maybe not a run, but to make a big push from last year. You
also gotta remember Panarin was out for a bit.
You're right.
With that with everything. So that's right. Like a huge dip. And then plus I got guys like Kakko, Lafreniere, Kravtsov. Like these guys, I think they're all gonna have a chance to really elevate their game. And I think they have to, especially Lafreniere and Kakko. These guys, I think they're definitely gonna have a huge step this year. Plus they got Adam Fox on D. Like the guy's a beauty.
Kind of like maybe he's not underrated, but one guy that I really, really like on New York is Keandre Miller. I think that guy's so good.
Dude, I think he's gonna be really good too. Wasn't he? Oh no, never mind.
The Rangers have an underrated blue line. Ryan Lindgren is one of a really solid defenseman, but he never gets talked about. Yeah.
Trouba also he's been around for a long time. Like he's been doing it.
Trouba could be named the captain this season.
The thing is with Trouba is he's kind of inconsistent. Like he used to be like pretty decent offensively. Now he's not really.
Well, it's because Fox took over.
You're right, but still, he's still in a top 4 role. You expect him to, like 2019, 2020, he got 27 points in 70 games. Like that's not anything to really write home about. Yeah. And even last season, 12 and 38. I don't know. Like I feel like Trouba isn't the guy he used to be anymore.
Okay, next up here, Brendan. is with the Ottawa Senators. Pierre Dorian came out and said, the rebuild is over. It's time to contend. What does Brendan think?
Didn't he just say it was a rebuild like 5 months ago?
Yep, and now he's like, oh, no, it's time to contend now.
Okay. Honestly, though, like, yes, Ottawa was last in the North Division last year, but I also didn't think they were like a walkover team. Like, I mean, we saw the Leafs had the Leafs had a lot of struggles with Ottawa.
They're pesky and they're annoying.
You know what? I'm gonna put them in the bubble.
I completely agree with you.
I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. But, like, I mean, they just signed Batherson back to a pretty good contract. He had a breakout year last year.
Yeah.
Kachuk is going to be good.
When they sign him, awesome. If they sign him, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. But like Stützle's going to be great. He's going to be
Josh Norris.
Josh Norris. Yeah,
they're
all young. They're all young, so that's why I don't think I can put them as a playoff contender. And because of how bad they were last year, I can't give them that big of a jump. But bubble team.
The only thing that worries me is their goaltending. With Matt Murray and Anton Forsberg, I don't know about that.
But we know Matt Murray has it in him, though.
We do, but I don't know if I'm willing to bet on a bounce back.
Fair enough.
On a guy like Matt Murray. Do we all agree bubble?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm fine with that.
I'm not okay with that. I feel like I consider them more as rebuilding right now.
Well, too bad.
Okay.
No,
it's fuck myself
because it's a 3v1. So yeah.
But sure, but
I think they are still rebuilding, but I think they are like at the top of the rebuild where they actually could be a bubble team. I think that's where they are right now.
I guess so, but like you said, their goaltending is weak. All their guys are still young. I don't know.
But
anyways,
Lipa, you're up with the Philadelphia Flyers.
Okay.
You get all the good teams, man.
What do you mean I get all the good
teams? the teams to talk about, like, a lot to talk about teams.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Philly, I'm putting them right away in what's it called? Playoff. They had some huge moves with their defense, with acquiring Yandel, Ristolainen, and Ellis. That is going to be absolutely huge. Plus, they have guys like Sanheim and Provorov already. Their defense core is one of the best in the league.
Their team in general is one of the best in the league.
Yeah. I was getting there. Plus, their offense is insane still. Like, they got Atkinson for Voracek. I really am curious to see how that works out. Oscar Lindblom, who's, I think, underrated. He's a young guy with I feel like he's got some potential to even do better. He had a great season last year. Joel Farabee, the best fucking player on the first day of fantasy, 4 points in that one game. He's gonna be so good. Like, he's a really young guy. He has potential to be really good. And I don't think it's gonna be a surprise at all to see these guys make the playoffs. Plus, they still have that leadership in Giroux and Couturier.
Yeah.
They got Konechny, who's insane as well.
The reason for me they're a playoff team with no doubt, and I know where you're going, but for me they're a playoff team with no doubt because Carter Hart can't be that bad. It's impossible.
He won't.
And that's what I was going to go on to.
That's what I was going to go on to. It's just the thing with Hart, and then Martin Jones. That guy's an absolute duster, but thank God he's the backup. Yeah. But yeah, no, I really hope Hart gets his shit together, man, because this team is a playoff team.
Yeah. Luca, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, like the thing with Philly is, like, they are such a hit or miss team because Massimo's pointed out, it's like,
look at their past,
over the last couple of years. Yeah, it's been like boom or bust pretty much every year for them.
This season is the boom season.
So, like, I'd say if they hit their ceiling, I'd say playoff team.
Yeah.
But if they hit their floor, I'd say bubble. So I'm fine with being optimistic and saying playoff team.
All right, Luca. Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay. Another kind of tough one. But
any team in the Metro is tough.
It's because it's such a tight division.
I'm gonna stick with playoff team.
Okay.
I think obviously they have a lot of things in the air, but I think as long as Sidney Crosby and those core couple of guys, like hopefully Malkin comes back healthy, you still have Gensel there, you still have Chris Letang there. like I'd say goaltending is obviously their biggest weakness, but they're low playoff team, high bubble.
Yeah, I think they're a playoff team because, again, I would be shocked if a team with Sidney Crosby didn't make the playoffs. Simply that.
I was about to say, like how Massimo said earlier, if you have Connor McDavid, you should make the playoffs. I know Sidney Crosby is getting old now, but still, I think if Crosby is on your team, you have a pretty good shot at making it.
Yeah. Well, so everyone agrees?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I got another easy one here. San Jose Sharks, straight into tanking. And Evander Kane is not making that situation much easier.
Oh, yeah. The thing with his
we won't get into it, but not a lot of players want to play if Kane is still on the team. So there's a lot of turmoil going on there, not a lot of love on that team. And they're not even that good. But, Thomas Hurdle's pretty good, but I think that's a tanking team if I've ever seen one. But, Erik Karlsson didn't sign here for a rebuild.
That's tough, man. Like,
does everyone agree?
I want to see the Sharks. I agree.
Yeah,
I want to see the Sharks succeed, especially when you got Burnsy on there. That guy's such a beauty. Man, yeah. You got to throw him in tanking for sure.
All right. Brendan, Seattle Kraken, the newbies.
Oh wow! I get the Kraken.
This is a Brendan team if I've ever seen one.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Fight for every inch of the
size
ice.
Defense. Yeah.
Love Jordan Everly.
That too.
That guy's a beauty.
From the World Juniors.
Oh, Donskoy. Yeah, this team's stacked. No. I'm gonna say rebuilding.
Really?
I didn't go as far to say as they're tanking.
Yeah.
Why does everyone think this team is bad?
I mean, look. Okay, sorry.
This team sucks.
Sorry.
What?
I can't say rebuilding because they're not rebuilding. They're building. You can't rebuild.
So where would you put them?
Building.
So rebuilding. The tier beneath
Make
bubble.
their own tier.
The tier beneath bubble. Okay.
No, they're their own tier. Building.
Guys, they have Grubauer and Drieger as their goaltending tandem. Why?
Look at their fucking forwards. They
Look
have
at
Danny
Dallas's forwards
as their first line center.
Dude.
Huh?
I don't think you. I don't know. Okay,
their second line is Jared McCann, Yarncroc, and Donskoy. Donskoy, he's a top 6 guy. Jared McCann and Yarncroc are not top 6 guys. I'm sorry. Their offense is not good enough.
But their defense. Look at their defense.
Him in the top 6 is a yarn crock of shit.
Okay, hang on. Answer me this. What's the difference between the Minnesota Wild and the Seattle Kraken? Because the Kraken have better goaltending.
The Kraken have better goaltending. Their offense is not where it needs to be. Sure, their defense is good, but you got to remember this is a new team. None of these guys have played together. Okay, this is they're going to be practicing all off season, but still, this is a new team. There's a lot of expectations going in with this team. They're rebuilding at the very least, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think personally, I'm going to try to move this on because we got to keep going.
Yeah.
But I think that people are too the bias of how good Vegas was when they first came into the league is still too fresh in people's heads. So they think that these teams are going to be good all the time when they come in. And Vegas is a one-off team. There's not going to be another team that comes in
for sure.
and was 100%. As good as Vegas. So I don't see them having a shot at the playoffs.
Neither do I. Not even close.
Luca?
Not even close.
I'm pretty much the same way. Like it's like I don't want to be a fourth voice in an argument.
I mean, I know I'd like to put them in bubble.
Yeah, like that's fine. Like they're definitely not a playoff team, but you're obviously not going to be rebuilding something that just got built.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs.
You need a new tier.
Did you say?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I
wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
If they made the playoffs?
If they didn't make the playoffs, I would not be surprised. Or no, that makes no sense.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs. There we go. Anyway,
okay, you would not be surprised. Let's want to bet. You want like $10.
$10 if they make the playoffs.
I will.
Yeah, $10.
I will bet you $100
no,
if they don't make
I'll
the playoffs.
take that.
No, wait. $10. Because it's against the field. So you give me $10, I'll give you $20 because I have way more shot.
Okay. And that's the Seattle Kraken make the playoffs.
Okay, we have
if the Seattle Kraken make the playoffs, you will get $20. If they don't, I will get $10.
All right.
Someone's been betting a lot recently. Brendan's using all these new
double
terms.
it for me.
No.
Double it for me.
No.
If I'll give you $40 if they make the playoffs, and you give me 20 if they don't.
No, I'm betting with Brendan, not you. Moving on.
Sorry, he's already picked this short.
Flippa, St. Louis
What
Blues.
a pussy. What a pussy. All right. So
Wait.
St. Louis.
Wait, who did the Seattle?
Yeah.
Brendan did Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Flippa, St. Louis.
So St. Louis. It's tough with St. Louis just because, they won the cup only a couple years ago. They're a good team. They just acquired Buchnevich. They signed Parayko to, I mean, in some people's opinions, a bit of a questionable contract. But they still have a good defense core. Like they have Krug, they have Falk, they have Parayko, who can still be good. And their forward core isn't bad either. Like without Tarasenko, that's going to be tough. It's still up in the air where he's going to go. But I still have these guys as a playoff team. I won't be surprised if they make the playoffs. They're a good team. They have Binner and net still. It's tough that they lost Vince Dunn, which that's kind of a hit to their defense, but still, I won't be surprised if they make the playoffs.
I would like to move them down to bubble team. I think they are 50-50. I don't think they're a lock for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I
definitely don't either.
Okay. Thank you. I thought I had to fight for that.
You got overridden pretty quickly.
Thank you.
Wow, I'll go fuck myself again.
Luka, Tampa Bay Lightning.
They're probably going to tank for the first round.
I think they should tank.
And they're still going to go for a 3-peat.
No, come on.
Yeah, of course.
They're cup contender.
They are a cup contender.
Yeah.
We don't even think we need to.
Just
let's.
Oh, goody! I get the Leafs. To what pleasure do I owe?
Buddy.
See, Massimo did that on purpose, so they knew the order, so that the Leafs would get to him.
I have them
piece of
as
shit.
a playoff team. I would be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs.
No. If they didn't make the playoffs, Keefe goes.
If they didn't make the playoffs, shit hits the fan.
Goes.
Like everything
Tavares
explodes.
maybe goes.
Everything explodes. If they don't make the
trade
playoffs,
Marner, trade Matthews for a 7th rounder.
The prerequisite is make the playoffs.
Undrafted signing money.
I agree.
They need to make the playoffs. They are not a cup contender until they win a round.
Yeah.
They're a playoff team.
They're a playoff.
100%.
Easy.
100%.
If you're gonna refute that, honestly, that just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
Brendan, Vancouver Canucks.
I like Vancouver. I always have liked Vancouver.
That's a great way to start it off.
Say it like that.
I've always liked Vancouver.
Is there a butt coming here?
No. That's the worst. I've always liked Vancouver.
Where would you like to put them, Brendan?
Fuck, you started this so odd.
Vancouver.
No,
I like Vancouver.
I'm gonna say a bubble team. But see, I want to put them in playoff contenders. I actually really do. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make it. So I can't put them that far. So I'll say bubble.
I think I would be surprised if they didn't make it, especially with their roster. Because the thing with the Canucks is we haven't seen them at full health in quite some time now. And I think with a fully healthy roster, a fully healthy Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, who's really good offensively, Thatcher Demko, who has the potential to carry this team. We saw it in the bubble. I think I would be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs.
Their defense is pretty damn good, too. Their defense is pretty decent.
So I would move them up to playoffs.
Fair enough.
The Vancouver
Their defense
Canucks.
defensively isn't good, but their defense offensively is pretty decent.
Yeah, see, it's tough because like you said, it's a bunch of ifs, man. Like Höglander, he's good. Horvat's good. They actually just acquired Garland. I forgot about that too. You know what? I'll agree. I'll say that they're a playoff team.
Luka?
It's just tough because sorry. Go ahead.
I'm probably gonna say bubble. I just don't think they're a playoff team yet.
Okay, so they stay in bubble.
It's just
Lippa, Vegas Golden Knights.
Vegas Golden
Shouldn't take
Knights.
too long.
Love this team. It's between playoff and cup contending for me.
Come on.
I'll say it's just tough though because Tuck Alex Tuck, who's a big part of that team, he's not going to be playing for the beginning. They lost Fleury. They lost their Vezina goalie.
How big of a part was Alex Tuck to that?
Alex Tuck, he's been a great top six guy for them.
But
I'm saying, you're right.
You're right.
They lost Fleury. They lost Tuck. They did acquire Dadonov. They have Nolan Patrick as well. Their top six is pretty nasty. I'll say play. Yeah, I know.
He went in a three-way trade.
Huh. Yeah, I was gonna say. Fuck, man. I'll say playoff team.
Okay, so all three of us are gonna overrule him.
Yep, contenders.
Tough. It's tough with cup contenders, just because look at the other teams, man.
I don't know if I'm comfortable betting on Leonard, but
I am.
That's the thing. It's Leonard, man. Like, it's the goaltending that's tough for me because
I could bet on Leonard 100%.
Bro, what is wrong with Robin Leonard?
Nothing's wrong with him. He just has some inconsistencies.
He sucked last year.
No, he didn't. He was injured, Lipa. There's a difference.
He was injured, but when he was playing, he still wasn't that good.
He also had some personal issues.
Everybody was comparing him to Fleury. Yeah.
Because it was Fleury. You have the Vezina, goalie on your team. You know what? Let me see what his stats were. Okay, he actually wasn't terrible. He was 913, 2.29 goals against average. That's actually not awful. I thought he did
fucking
worse.
Good.
Luka, Washington Capitals.
Playoff team.
I guess I'll just go fuck myself.
You got overruled, buddy.
Washington is a playoff team.
Yes, they are.
I don't think
so. You would be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. Or sorry, you
absolutely.
I 100% would be.
After consistently making the playoffs for as long as they have, I would be shocked if Washington did not make it.
Yeah, me too.
What do you say, Matt?
I have them in bubble, but it doesn't matter because it's a 2v2 and Luka has a say. But I would have them in bubble.
It's not a 2v2. I have them in
playoffs. Okay, well, never mind. The last one here, and it ends on me. Winnipeg Jets. It's pretty easy for me. I would be surprised if they did make the playoffs with Connor Hellebuck in net, so they are a playoff team for me.
Playoff team as well. They have a good forward core.
Lower tier playoff team, but
fair enough, but yes.
Lower tier.
Yeah, I agree though. Like, their forward core is good. Their defense isn't terrible. I still want to see them add to their D. Like, I don't think Nate Schmidt is going to be the answer.
They have one good defensive pair, and that's it. And that's DeMello and Dylan.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
But I mean, Pionk I like Pionk. Morrissey's actually criminally underrated. I feel like he's actually decent.
Love Josh Morris.
He's good offensively. Yeah. He's not the best defensively. Like, there's not many good defensive players on that team. I think there's like 5. The rest are not the best, but it doesn't matter when you have Connor Hellebuck bailing you out every single game.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. That is the Offsiders Podcast 32 team tier list. The 4 cup contending teams, according to us, are the Avalanche, Islanders, Lightning, and Vegas Golden Knights. So naturally, the Flyers will win the cup because they're not there.